I like having a personal one-man band. It's great. Welcome back. CORSAIR DreamLeague Season 10. We're in the midst of it all, and we're in the group stages, actually. And we are looking at some teams that were not very fortunate yesterday, because we are in the lower bracket of the groups, which means just now we already saw one of the teams go to the lower bracket of the main bracket. I know.
What?
By not winning any games. That's unfortunate for them. We're gonna see if at least one of the teams can get a game, but we're gonna also see another team that's gonna make it to the lower bracket. Hi, Slacks.
Hey!
I'm talking myself a little bit stuck here. Help me out.
I like it. Hey, you know what? We've seen some lower. It's time to see some midder, huh?
Yeah.
I want to see some team win this time.
Yes, let's do that. We definitely will have the team cheers, and that will be fun. We also have a new guest on the sofa, which will also be fun, and it is none other than Mr. Fog.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Am I muted?
No.
Nice. I did it right.
Why would you think you're muted?
Because I grabbed the wrong box before, but
Fair enough.
things were salvaged.
Fog?
I'll keep my distance today.
What?
I don't know. He pushed me away earlier, so.
Well, I did forget you're filthy ill, so it's good he didn't touch me.
I'm also starting to get ill.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
yeah.
Don't tell me you are. No, I hope not. That's on Kyle now. My disease is.
The amount of tissues I have gathered here at the moment is...
Patient zero here. It's okay.
Sickos. You gotta work on your immune system, baby.
Yeah, don't worry. My body fought of chemo will have no problem with the cold. All right.
True.
Time to talk about our next matchup, because we're in Group B, and it's going to be Rooons versus the final tribe. I think yesterday, if we're looking at the two teams, let's start with Rooons, actually. I was a little bit underwhelmed by Rooons.
A little bit.
I mean, I wasn't going to throw them under the bus completely.
I mean, Boris and BSJ had a pretty good games. I thought they played pretty well. I think the rest of them definitely need to step it up.
Okay.
I'll be straight up. Like Annihilate, his Invoker left a lot to desire after that game. He was definitely struggling a bit too, and I think Monkeys has to play a lot better too. We actually got to chat with him a bit last night after we finished up, and he was like, yeah, we were all kind of just, we didn't really know what the hell we were doing a lot of the times pretty much. And I think Boris and BSJ were the only two that were consistently making plays on the map. Their laning phase, it looked good, right? Like the 10 to 20 minute mark, they actually looked pretty solid, and then after that, they were not making moves on the map, and they just got crushed.
Yeah, we quoted you. We tried to keep it anonymous, but then you got called out saying, you know, they just stopped playing Dota 2.
I hold by that. I think they really just, they lack some direction after that laning phase.
Fixable though, Slacks?
I hope so. I got physically angry last night.
Wow.
Because I want to love Rooons.
Yeah.
It's an NA team. They're here representing.
You predicted them to win.
I predicted them to win, and I felt the fool. So I want to see a different Rooons today. I want to see a kick-ass Rooons, and I want to see America, baby. Let's go, Rooons.
All right. So
don't do it to me again. I can't handle it again.
We're also going to talk about the other team.
Okay. Well, first before also, I was hearing from Rooons that they were very distracted during drafting and stuff because all the yelling from Slacks. So
that's not true. Not true at all.
that was words from them.
I see them looking and laughing right now. They're distracted already.
They're liars.
I see Jube, and he's just grabbing his headset and thinking like, I don't want to hear this.
Problems on me, okay? Those are your freaking problems. I'll try to keep it down today because I want them to win.
Okay.
So let's go, Rooons.
So for Final Tribe. They had a very weird draft in the last game that we saw. They picked the CK, right?
Yeah.
They had that CK who got kind of smashed and ended up having to go for like pipe and everything, and he just kind of fell off really, really hard and really quickly in the game. Yeah, they had a lot. They had like it seemed like they had one idea and then they switched their ideas halfway through the draft. So
yeah.
I think their drafting a little bit for me needs to be worked on, but their play was okay.
Which is a rare problem. We've been seeing a lot of drafting issues so far in this tournament. It seems like they really have done their homework, but now it's time to show up and play the right game. So hopefully they do that.
How do I mute? I got a cough.
Oh, it's okay. It's not muted.
It's not muted.
Definitely not
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I tried. That's not the mute. It says mute.
Fine.
Yeah, sometimes they turn that off so you can't.
Oh,
My
well,
immune system's
apologies,
ready.
everyone.
The trick is you don't eat anything natural, okay? Natural stuff just decays and dies.
No.
I only put artificial preservatives inside my body. My esophagus is basically covered in artificial microplastics.
That explains a lot.
It makes me invincible. I'll
You know
never
what?
die.
I would have been a lot more ill right now if it wasn't for talent manager Sandra. She's making these chili flakes, ginger, honey, lemon shots that are interesting, but they work.
And she made us a eucalyptus, like, little steam bath.
Yeah.
Out of our talent room thingy. It's actually quite nice.
Sandra
It's
is
very nice.
It's desperately needed, that's
she
for
is
sure.
so much better than Declan, who promised
Don't you dare blame Declan.
PlayStation 4s and does not deliver. And
He's watching right now, too.
Good. I hope you are. You piece of garbage. DreamLeague is going to give me that PS4.
I don't think
They
they
don't
are.
lie to me.
No, I just heard prediction saying a loud and clear no. There you go, with sound effects as well. You know what we can look at? We can look at the Hacks MVP, or rather the Hacks MVP to be, because that is up to you. You can vote for them.
Oh, it almost looks like my name. I was like, what? My name's up there, but it's I Annihilate with, like, missing a couple of my letters. Because I'm missing.
Yanni.
It almost looks like Yanni's.
Yanni.
Yanni.
I got excited for a second. I was like, I can be MVP too.
That's me.
Don't worry, you can only vote once the game's actually started. Keep that in mind, you guys.
All right, guys. If you want
Hashtag
Fog
BSJ.
to win MVP, vote
For I Annihilate.
I Annihilate.
It's very close to my name. Almost
Yanni.
there. Almost there.
Let's give Fog some love this game. Doesn't get enough from us because we ate him.
Let's take a look at the draft. We have got game number 1 coming your way right now, and we should be ready to show you what has happened in the first couple of bands.
What heroes are getting through? Who's getting Terrorblade?
No one. Terrorblade-
Terrorblade ban.
Oh, is he?
overrated.
Is he banned?
Ooh,
oh,
Enigma
Enigma makes it
first
through.
pick.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
I like it.
This is some last week stuff coming out here. Enigma, we have seen this hero a lot in professional Dota lately. I haven't seen him too much at this tourney, but I'm ready to see some sick black holes.
I'm hoping for a Rubik in response too, so we can see both sides having it.
Nobody picks a Rubik these days, bruh.
Versus Enigma, you do.
I mean, sure, but I mean, then you got a Rubik. Drow Ranger?
Dramarana.
First pick?
What?
So we were talking a lot. We've mentioned so much ease of execution, right? And we were talking about how, like, some of the weaker teams here, you know, Rooons. If you have these lineups that just kind of play themselves, and if you can come out of the lane really well, you can have a much better shot.
No.
Yeah, and then it takes me back to yesterday when they had the easier to execute lineup, and it did indeed do just that, but they kind of didn't do anything anymore for the moment they got out of the lanes.
All right.
Which one was that one?
The one that you said they just stopped playing Dota.
When they had the Invoker, I think that's a really hard lineup to use, personally.
Oh,
but-
well, they nailed the laning stage.
They did nail the laning phase, but you have to be able to play in the mid game too versus that. And bam!
Terrorblade.
Terrorblade.
Second pick.
We expected that.
All right, get your fire suits on, because I'm about to do some major flaming. I hate early Drow pick. I hate it.
When do you want it done? You want it like a last pick.
You need a last pick. You know
That's true.
exactly
I mean-
what Rooons is going to do now. There is no surprise. There is nothing that they can do. They're going to early game get a lot of range heroes. They're going to push. They're going to try to rat, and then they're going to lose at 30 minutes. You can't second pick Drow. It's too predictable. Way too predictable. They've done it. They debated me again. My heart can't take this anymore. Fog, do you disagree?
I don't think the hero's that strong right now personally, but I think it can set you up to get some like really nice like last few picks because you can. It causes a distraction, right? You see a Drow first 2 picks, and you're like, okay, we now have to focus on banning like a lot of these ranged heroes and stuff. So sometimes maybe something will slip through the draft that you didn't expect.
I mean, I guess, but all they need on Final Tribe now is heroes that can pierce the back line. Nice axes, nice even a Weaver, something that can get back there and disrupt them a little bit.
Both of those are banned.
Well, you know, as I said, those are the ideal heroes. Now they'll find something that can do the same thing. Potentially another Pango, something to get back there and disrupt that right click.
You're bang on. Absolutely perfect. Slide.
Damn you.
No, it's
Such an
Thank you.
I like the Brood ban. I think you have to ban Brood when you have Drow Ranger. And yeah, I think you are definitely at risk when you open the Drow Ranger if you're just getting either ran over in the Drow lane. Your other 2 lanes might do really well, but the Drow lane is usually going to do pretty bad. And if you just pick a lot of heroes that can collapse on top of the Drow, it's very good. And you pick heroes that can also itemize versus it, which they already have, right? Enigma, you can go Guardian Greaves, you can go Crimson Guard. It's excellent versus Drow strats.
Nice Bane pickup there. Makes an
That's good.
Enigma jobs a little bit more difficult. Even with that BKB, he'll never be safe. He's always got to make sure that Bane is not anywhere near him, but...
Gives him good lane, too. The Bane Mirana. We saw last game, Infamous, what they could do with it.
Yeah.
Auto popped off.
Pretty
Yeah,
darn
he did.
good.
Is there gonna be? Why is the TA banned?
10 seconds.
Is that because of an Invoker coming, or is that just?
Could be because of Alina coming or an Invoker coming. They probably just want to keep this open as well. Like if they want to put the Mirana mid, if they've got a few options that they can go for that mid lane.
Tiny coming in.
Through. All right, well Tiny's one of those heroes that can just, you rush a Blink Dagger, you get on top of Drow Ranger. These are pretty squishy right now, Mirana and Drow.
Yeah.
Bane, a bit more tanky. Mirana at least has like the 200 health talent at 10, but definitely can be at risk of getting blown up. And this is a really strong lane. We've seen this dual lane. I think VP was one of the ones that ran it like every single game for a while, was the Enigma Tiny dual lane.
Yep. Pretty strong. I mean, how do you survive in that lane? You go anywhere near anything, you're just dead.
They're just going to out-level you. They're going to out-level you and outlast hit you because Tiny has this 80 base damage. Enigma has Eidolons and denying the creeps back constantly, so the lane is pretty damn tough. And there's the Rubik. So they did take the Rubik versus the Enigma. It's also an instant disable versus Terrorblade, and in some, I mean, if you can steal Sunder, you can do some neat plays.
Ooh, what a surprise. Look at all those ranged heroes. It looks like a lot of early game coming out. I wonder if Final Tribes saw this one coming.
I mean, but it looks pretty good. They're just lacking team fight right now.
Huh?
On the side of
Treant
lanes.
Protector, savior of lanes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know why you're picking a Treant against a Drought. She's just going to blow up that tower. It's not like it's pick damage. It's just straight up damage, you know?
I think they just want to like have this strong lane as well, and it works well with Enigma too. You've got like this big team fight now coming in, and we said Rooons, they don't really have much team fight.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with that Rubik. The bigger the team fight, the more steals that he can get and ruin the team fight. So
It's very true.
I'm pretty spooked now. I mean, that Rubik is doing work just by existing.
But there's a Terrorblade. There's Terrorblade and Enigma. And these two heroes, as we saw, we saw this so much at Hamburg, just how much they can just control the game.
Yeah.
Even if Rooons has a very good like laning lineup right now.
Mm-hmm. So what are we missing on Final Tribe? We got to get our mid.
Our mids
Yeah.
on both sides, I think. I,
guess
mean,
they could-
obviously, Runes can also have Mirana mid.
Yeah, I think but either side could still change their mid, because Tiny can mid, Mirana can mid. I mean, Lena's looking pretty good on the side of Rooons. Rooons could also go for some type of just... Actually, no, I was going to say Visage, but that's pretty all in, but there's not actually much wave clear on Final Tribe. I think Visage could actually work.
Is PL any good here for Tribe? I mean, is he okay?
PL with Terrorblade, they kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually don't want to
Sorry about that.
pick this in. No,
Who's a good mid then?
for Chessie...
Well, again, we would
Some
like
more-
somebody that
I want
can pierce that back, right?
Yeah, I want more follow-up. For Final Tribe, I want more follow-up for the Enigma. More damage to come in. So, like, some Lina, some Invoker, some Spellcaster in that mid lane.
Could it be? Now, I know we saw it last time.
Some
The
fast...
Quap
Actually,
did not do good.
Maybe not Invoker. I want something fast-paced.
Yeah, but maybe
Quap...
she didn't do great, but...
I mean, I don't like the hero. I just don't like hero. The hero's just weak. It's like either you crush your lane and then you just need to keep crushing for the next like 10 minutes. If you die once, you lose the game usually.
True.
I mean, Lina actually just fits perfect. Lina, Tinker could have been pretty cool too. I want magic damage and more things to throw inside of the Enigma Black Hole on the side of Final Tribe, and things that they can fight with. I want them to be fighting with Enigma, with Tiny, with Treant Protector, and this Terrorblade to sit back and farm.
Yeah, and the Final Tribe can really pick that powerful, engaging mid. I mean, it makes everybody on this team's job easier. They need some items.
Yeah.
Enigma needs a blink, Tiny needs a blink, Terrorblade needs an everything. So, very impactful mid would probably be a good pick here.
Maybe, yeah, DK, Lina, just some playmaker. Big playmaker on Final Tribe.
DK?
Wow.
You call DK a playmaker? He's a slow boy.
Excuse me, did you see Papita on the Dragon Knight previous
I mean,
game?
yeah,
You set
he
up for
did
your
fine.
team.
He
You can
did
set up for
fine.
your team. It's probably not that great actually in this one. They banned it anyway. They actually expecting Rooons to take it. So they think Rooons still needs their mid lane, and it's a good assumption. I mean, I think Lena's just like one of the better ones right now for either side.
All right, I've been saying this for this whole tournament.
So,
Mid silencer. What do you think?
no.
What do you think, bud?
Oh my God, Silencer's ignored.
Ignored.
What do you
Previous
think,
series
buddy?
as well.
Interesting.
I mean, Final Tribe's really looking to, go together on this one and have these big plays and these huge team fights. Why not throw a little bit of wrench in there, huh? Decent damage, too. You got the Drow Ranger, huh?
What were you talking about still?
He's still talking about silencer for Rooons.
Dude, don't pick CORSAIR almost ever.
Come on.
It's not good.
Agnum Scepter, though.
Are you just naming heroes and items at this point?
What? Agnum Scepter on Silencer makes him into a corner pretty good.
You also said
if they're silenced, he does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If they're not silenced, it doesn't really do much of anything.
I can't wait till they pick Silencer.
If they do, I will probably go with Rooons then to win the game.
Okay.
Final Tribe had a lot of bonus time left, huh?
They do. Yeah, they're just choosing their best option here.
All right, let's see.
I want to follow up with the Enigma.
Big team. I'm still. My mind still goes to Quap. I know it ain't good, but Pierce's back line has a bunch of damage that can follow up. Big playmaker in the early. Still feel it. Alina does the same, and she's better though, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Just a better hero, safer hero as well.
When are we gonna see another Shadow Fiend?
Yeah.
The days.
Good old days.
Sumel was actually talking to me about Shadow Fiend when he got to Hamburg. He was like, he wants to play it, so we're probably gonna see EG play that at the major.
Oh, a Storm Spirit, huh? Backline Piercer.
There's a lot of disable already.
There's a lot of disable. There's silences.
You got the Gust. You got the Bane and Nightmare into Arrow. You got the Lift.
I want someone that can just fight and doesn't need that much farm to be able to do so, because they have Terrorblade. He's gonna be farming all the time.
That's true. Yeah, as we said, Final Tribe needs a lot of farm on everybody.
They're taking a hell of a lot.
A hero that just needs levels, doesn't need farm. It's Shadow Demon.
Whoa, my.
So tiny mid.
Oh,
I think that's what they were deciding. They were deciding, do we just pick a last hero for mid, or do we pick their support? And the Shadow Demon, we mentioned yesterday, great save versus like single target disables like Mirana Bane. They also have now Shadow Demon Terrorblade.
I feel better. I would have never guessed that.
I don't think I would have either.
Ooh,
but it was like, I was trying to think of chessy heroes for mid, and he loves playing tiny mid.
No chance it's the Shadow Demon mid for that extra super damage, right?
That'd be wild.
Okay.
So now it's tiny mid. So now Rooons has an option. Do they put Drow mid, or do they just take? They take the lead.
They just take the lead themselves.
That one was. I thought either side should just pick Lina there, to be honest. But
yeah.
Okay, so 5 ranged. Do I like the 5 ranged here?
What a surprise.
What a surprise. They don't have any frontliner. That's my only concern on Rooons. They have great lanes, good setups, high damage, and these heroes that all benefit from the aura, but
all right, Fog.
No frontliner.
You're up first. As Final Tribe is preparing for the match.
Yes. Thank you. Very good, Fog. I already said everything I want to say, you know?
Yeah.
Drow Ranger strat. If I can figure it out, I'm pretty sure another pro team can figure it out and plan against it. They got plenty of burst damage. Gotta go with Final Tribe.
I hate to do this, but I'm also going for the Final Tribe.
Uh-oh.
But there's also a chance that Rooons is just going to prove us all wrong.
Hopefully.
So.
I actually hope so.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's find out if they can. It is over to Kyle and Moxie.
Man, no love for NA Dota at all. Can you believe this?
I cannot believe it. It's crazy, especially because Slacks yesterday was saying if ever the panel was all wrong, he'd do this weird interpretive dance.
Oh my God.
This is Rooons' game right now.
Yeah, I'm going to put my faith in BSJ. Monkeys, I annihilate. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean.
Let's see. This is Drow strat. Prove him wrong.
He said it's easy to play against the Drow strat, but it's also super easy to play. And let's be real, the Rooons squad, they need to keep the game simple. And I think that they picked 5 ranged heroes with the Drow. They got a bunch of stuns, whereas the TFT lineup, you got to play so much better, you know? Like, disrupt properly, treat, like, it's so much more around what Rooons is doing, whereas if Rooons gets ahead, like, they can just kind of click you down, like just easy, simple.
It's point and click Dota, right?
Yeah,
point
exactly.
and click Dota. How can you, yeah, for sure. Lots of little moving parts coming up from the Final Tribe, but I'm going to throw my support behind NA Dota, you know? Let's see what they can do with this Drow strat. I like that Mirana. I like the Lina. Let's go. Alrighty.
Yeah, I think it's important specifically for Annihilate to have a good start in the game. I was not impressed at all with his mid in the previous series he played yesterday, and I think that this is a nice way to ensure he has a good time. Playing against the Tiny, a lane you're slightly favored in, and you have Drow Aura, I mean, you got to perform now.
Yeah, you know, it should be a little bit easier, right? Because every time that Tiny approaches that creep wave, throw out the light strike array, try to interrupt whenever, you know, you can. And of course, you've got that range. So let's see how this goes. Looks like we do have one tiny little pause here. But we're talking a little bit about that Shadow Demon, right?
Yeah, it's a strange hero. It's not one we see very often. I would have probably preferred it to be a core in this game. And instead, it's going to be the hard 5. I think that if this is a different team playing, we would have seen Enigma shifted to more of the 4, like a Shadow Demon off lane, perhaps. And then, like we saw Secret do, Yapzor would just go to the woods, leaving a support / core in the off lane. But you're such a level defending hero, and I think your talents are so good, and you want to have a super fat Shadow Demon in this game because making Illusions of Drow or TB is going to be really solid for your side.
Absolutely, absolutely here. So, yeah, I like your very sultry voice this morning, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that. I don't usually sound this Clooney-like, but...
That's a good comparison right there. But, yeah, for those of you who don't know, the boys are a little sick, so they're doing their best here.
Yeah, shout out to Fogged.
Yeah, shout out to
Thanks,
Fogged
buddy.
over there. And, like, shout out to Sandra, because she has just been amazing with the amount of, like, care and attention she's been doing. She got, like... what is it? The ginger, lemon, honey, tonic stuff for us. She got us all this. So.
Between this event and Hamburg, I think I've had at least like 3 or 4 liters of this stuff. It is amazing, though, and I'm bringing it back to America with me, the recipe.
You have to share that with me at some point. That's pretty good here. But, yeah, should see some really good team fights, right? You've got, like, nice setup coming out from the final tribe. You've got the overgrowth, you've got a black hole, you've got ways to kind of make those extra illusions there. But on the flip side, again, we said it's kind of like a point-and-click skirmishy sort of draft coming out from the side of Rooons. So, and that's just what I talked about, right? That light strike array coming through over onto Chessie every time he's going to get a little close here. So,
yeah. It's a matchup I think both heroes will look to farm well in, but Lina definitely starts to accelerate this lane once you hit level 3. Tiny should win the lane until then.
Okay. And Annihilate trying his best here to deal with that cleave, obviously.
He's got to... There's no reason... I know Annihilate's trying to get closer to last hit, but you should not be taking the tree AoE. It's just unnecessary harass. Anyway. This is something we don't see very often nowadays.
Tri-lane versus tri-lane.
Yeah, exactly.
What is this? Several patches ago? Man, the worst was the one where everyone was mid, right? You just had like a tri-lane and mid constantly.
That's
not great.
Do these teams know it's 2018?
With how tired you are you sure you know it's 2018?
Hey, I'm fine. I'm well rested today. I'm ready to rock.
You better be well rested considering. My goodness gracious.
Yeah. So the thing is, they pop the meta super early. So when this fades, I think that the Rooons lineup just starts to dominate this tri-lane. They got to be careful about the poison stacking up, but Tree and SD are very level dependent supports, whereas Rubik, Bane, Drow, like as soon as they're all level 2, that's their peak in this lane.
Yeah, they've got really nice setup for sure. And I'm a big fan of, I think I've seen Boris play the Rubik before in NADCL. And he's just really, really on point with his spell steals and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd like to see the supports play a little more disciplined. Like it feels like they're playing a pub almost in the way they're just like constantly running in circles around the creep wave. Just play together like they are like right now and just cancel the right side or the left side, you know? You play together so that you're always trading. There's only one ranged hero on the side of TFT, so just put yourself in a position where they better not get this pull off. Oh, he's gonna make, oh my goodness. You cannot allow a team to get a safe lane pull off in a situation like this.
It looks like they're gonna be able to contest just a little bit anyways, so. Not the total end of the world.
TB gets to farm under tower for free, and then you're going to have a double wave, which means that effectively for this peak timing of level 2 on every hero for Rooons, they have no ability to apply pressure and get hero kills. And a TB doesn't take any damage under tower, and he gets every last hit.
That's a good point. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going on over here with Frost.
And now here's this creep wave, and he'll be able to push with the others that come to join him once that pull completes. And that's how you stop a pull, folks. Well played by Hanskin.
So again, we want to see the supports over on the side of Rooons just be a little bit more aggressive, like we're talking about. Annihilate though over here in the mid lane, sitting at 9 and 4, Tiny 19 and 5. Oof.
Yeah, we haven't even checked in on the bottom lane, but it looks like.
It might be a good idea if we check in, right? Because Monkey's sitting a little low, but.
He's doing better than I would expect. I think this is an Enigma-favored lane. Mirana's base damage is very low. You can't really pressure the Eidolons too well, and Enigma gets 4 or 5 free Archer denies already by this point.
Making some move over here on Hanskin. Do have a sentry down. Bit tanky, though. CSJ going to be forced back. Now, are they playing this lane correctly, do you think, now? Like,
well, TFT's playing the top lane very well. I think they've done all the little things right, and it's bought them time for the second meta. And they now have total lane dominance up there, in addition to acquiring lane creep control.
okay.
It's weird. I've like not talked about these mechanics in what feels like years. Like this is some stuff you had to like think about, memorize. Like, do you want to pull? Do you want to stop pulls? Like push lane, keep lane control, etc., etc. You don't have to think about these things most of the time because it's just a 2-on-2 brawl versus this sort of scenario where a little bit of creep control is worth so much when 3 heroes from both sides are in the same lane.
So is it worth it to keep these supports up here on the side of Rooons to keep trying to pressure, or is it better if we see them rotate, maybe? Because I know you want to protect your Drow Ranger, obviously.
I'd love to see one of them go towards mid, since there's a Lina there. And you should be able to find a kill, especially when Lina hits level 6. But like right about this time, right? Nighttime, this is when you want to look to move, but both supports are still just kind of handcuffed together up here in the top lane where you really aren't going to find kills.
I'm going to try to grab those runes. DCG Bay already in position. And Boris going to join him, so they should be able to secure themselves. Rune Monkeys down here. Going to be able to grab it. Has that bottle online. Almost level 6.
Great timing for Monkeys as well. He was very low on health and mana, and now he's going to have a full bottle, full HP.
Yeah, I felt like the Enigma was sitting very, very low on mana at one point, I think, when we were glancing over at him. In fact, yeah, he's still sitting a bit low. Does have the Soul Ring online, though, now, so we'll be able to continue to keep that Eidolon spam going down. Does have the level 6 as well, but I'm sure is just more than content to stay down here unless the proper opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, I mean, TFT, I don't think feels very pressured in this scenario. Another thing we didn't mention was how Drow traditionally doesn't like to be in tri-lanes. You want this hero to hit 6 ASAP, especially after the nerfs to the aura plus damage, and you're just tri-laning still. So yeah, TFT, you can make a move towards bottom, pressure that tower, and get a kill with the Enigma Black Hole, but why?
Right.
Just stay content with this. Your TB is keeping pace with the Drow and will do significantly better against the hero as the game progresses.
I feel like they really want to try to make something happen here with the stream, but they just don't have that damage just yet. And as I say it, Caster's Curse, right? He's going to try to run himself out, needs a little bit more damage, but that Leech Seed, keeping him alive a little bit longer, and he's actually going to just go back to hiding in the trees.
I like how Frost and Era are just like, oh, I hope you're okay, friendly tree. We're going to farm creep waves because
they know that they don't have enough right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to contest. Like, they don't want to play this lane going for kills. They just want to continue to control the creep wave. And again, the other issue with the Drow in the aggro lane is that the supports can't leave. If you go gank mid for your Lina, who constantly is keeping this tiny low, you can't stay in the lane 2 against 3. And that's a big issue when you have these 3 relatively squishy heroes on the same lane against something like a tree.
That makes sense. For sure. It's just too bad, right? Because you're seeing Ionite, he's having a better time now. 35 and 5, 42 and 8, catching up to the Tiny, like you predicted there, once you got a couple more levels over there on that Lina. But you just can't do too much with it just yet.
And again, I think I agree with the panel that TFT should be favored in this game. I was just thinking that Rooons would apply so much pressure in this initial early to mid-game transition that they'd take the game, but they've got to do something soon.
Everybody loves an underdog story, right? You know, that big comeback. So we'll see what they can do here, for sure. But toss back coming out immediately, disruption. Just can't do anything. There's some nice Bane illusions for themselves.
Yeah, well, so they should know the TB is rotated out. I'd like to see a support move towards the middle, and it looks like that's going to happen right now as the Bane makes a run for it. And somebody else just got to stop this easy cam pull. It looks like Era's going to get it once again. They'll stack first, but someone should stop him. Stop that man.
At least throw a ward down or something, maybe. Jubei hanging out.
Yeah, this is something we saw Vici and Secret do in Complexity yesterday in a lot of their games, where if you can rotate your TB to the jungle early on, he doesn't really slow down and farm that much because eats through jungle cramps so fast. And when your supports are then able to maintain a presence in the lane he abandoned, you're just getting more off of the map as a team.
Jubei coming down here does have a haste rune, I believe. Or had one before.
Yep.
It's a lot of Eidolons going over there for Monkeys.
Yeah, the other concern I have with Rooons is they don't have a natural frontliner. I thought that DK last ban by TFT was critical because that's for sure what type of hero you're looking for if you're Rooons. And you're in a position now where in team fights, yeah, it might be a bit hard to execute for the final try, but if you get multi-man rooted against a TB with meta, Tiny's going to have a great game if he picks up an early blink. Like, you need to accelerate the tempo so that you all have the ability to buy items to increase your survivability, or you're in trouble.
Might be able to get this kill over here on Era, but they'll immediately go use the banishment and make themselves some drought illusions here for Boris, having to run out.
Yep. I don't agree with their decision to put the Bane bottom. I feel like Rubik, especially since it's Boris, he should be the one making moves and plays. You don't really dominate a map. You can't find kills as a Bane. It just doesn't work in the same way.
I think you'd need like another +1 if you wanted to like rotate the Bane around, right? But you don't want to leave your Drow obviously open, especially not when you've got Chessie making this rotation to the top lane, knowing that Boris is pretty low.
He's level 9.
Yeah.
That's very scary. I know he's keeping pace with the Lina, but when you consider that Drow, Rubik, and Bane are all level 4, they're going to be fodder for Chessie for quite some time, and he's only 800 gold away from a blink.
Nice arrow setup though here. Looks like they might be able to put some damage over onto the Enigma. Not sure they have quite enough. Oh, with Boris making the rotation though, they definitely do. And there's going to be a nice first blood coming out for Monkeys.
10-minute first blood.
Yeah, but they follow up. They get themselves a kill on BSJ here in the top lane with the rotation from Chessie. Double damage on Annihilate. This tower is going down.
And the catapult wave.
We're yelling timber.
Yep. This is the way you want to play Alina in this sort of scenario as well. Don't look to rotate. Dominate your lane. And the moment Tiny leaves, because he's always going to feel pressure to leave, you just push this tower. So a nice DD rune timing, and that's huge for Rooons. That gives them a huge opening into the dire jungle, allows them to then rotate through both shrines, and it makes Roche a possibility as the game progresses.
Pretty fortunate happenstance on that double damage, but they do find themselves a tree over here, but will be able to make itself away from that sentry ward. I'm surprised that we don't see any detection on some of these supports just yet. Oh, Monkeys. Arrow comes through. Can they get enough damage down? In comes Arrow. Monkey's got to be a little bit careful here. That poison going to be able to give away the position. Another leap, but he knows exactly how far that's going to be able to leap. Still has that Moonlight Shadow that just in case, and it's just a little skirmish up here in the top lane between Henskin and Jubei.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how this game progresses. I think that as soon as this Tiny picks up his blink, which he's very, very close to, it's time for a smoke move from TFT. They'll have meta coming back off cooldown pretty soon as well. And I think you look maybe to make a play for this Lina. He's very squishy still. You could also, again, just sit on your heels. You just have to be concerned because the way Drow lineups work, especially now that the supports are 6, it's so easy for them to find a couple pickoffs and then immediately convert 2 towers on top of it. And then it becomes a very scary advantage to play into, especially when you consider how slow the TFT lineup is.
Illusion. The nice thing too about you know, you talk about if they take a good fight, they'll also be able to get quite a bit because it's a Drow lineup. I just saw that Boris was able to grab those Eidolons as well, so that gives you even more pushing potential. But you do have the threat of Black Hole, right? You've got the threat of this really big team fight that could come out at any moment. And like you said, you know, getting the Blink Dagger on Tiny is going to be really, really important. Boris, okay, they use the Moonlight Shadow. I think they're trying to just get Boris out down here, yeah?
It is, but it's a bit squandered. I hope they're able to make a play aggressively.
Well, they can see Henskin over here. Chessie coming forward. They're all grouped together. Oh, the Avalanche, the toss, the Shadow Poison. They'll follow up with the Overgrowth. They use the Laguna Blade. That tree's actually going to walk away. And it looks like we are going to lose Jubei. Double kill coming out for Era.
That is the dream blink reveal for Chessie. I mean, that is so juicy. He gets both kills, and they don't even lose the tree. And, oof, that is very demoralizing for a team like Rooons, especially considering they're in a great position at this point, but that really slows their tempo. Again, Chessie.
Oh, Boris. He was there. There was a Rubik there. Did you see where he went?
No. Did you catch that?
No. Maybe we're seeing things.
Yeah, I mean, there's the why you don't try lane against a Tiny. just in full effect. That combo does about 1,000 damage. If you include the tree toss, it's probably a bit more. And he will kill everyone in a combo, specifically these two supports, for quite a while. There's no real way to itemize it.
What are the chances? What are the chances? Can they burst him down fast though? A little bit more? Yeah, there it is, the brain sap coming out from Jubei.
All right, well.
All right, there we go.
I didn't know that Rune Monkeys Forever was role-playing as Mark Wahlberg and Sniper this game, but it appears he is on point, and he's now top net worth in the game.
Is that like is that a compliment or is that an insult to him, compare someone to Mark Wahlberg?
I mean, come on, it's Mark Wahlberg. Do you really think he'd be ineffective as the action lead in a movie? Come on.
I don't know, I just see him as Marky Mark, man.
I knew you were going to say something like that. People don't even know who Marky Mark is. The ones watching this broadcast are going to think that we're just making people up.
Well, now they're going to Google it because we're talking about it. Joke's on you. Got him.
Yeah. It's funny to think, never mind. Well, I would get into like the history of Vanilla
Marky
Ice.
Mark and Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Thank God all those styles faded, though. Oh, a grip coming in.
God, yeah. Laguna comes out. They don't even need that Light Striker, eh? I annihilate, literally annihilating. Monkeys Forever, though, looks like he's in for some trouble. There's a jump forward coming out from Jesse. Toss up into the air. And again, it's going to be Era getting that final hit off.
Still a toss. I mean, this is still fine for Rooons. The key is that they're playing 3 lanes, and they're planting the drow in the top lane, which is arguably the safest part of the map for them. Abandon the safe lane, with the exception of Monkeys. He goes down there, tries to pick up the farm. Yeah, he dies, but it buys space for the Radiant side to just sweep through enemy jungle at all times. And look at this tower bottom. It's still full HP.
It's a pretty healthy tower, that's for sure, but might not let it be long for this world when you consider how many people are pincering here. Got the Eidolon army, you've got that Hellbear. Look at this, just break down the trees. Oh, Boris. Well, you know what? Space created, they know how many people are down there right now, so they can try to apply some more pressure here in the top lane.
Yeah, I want to check out, look at the Radiant wards that they've placed. They've got one very deep one top that's going to scout out this movement and hopefully get eyes on a Tiny that would TP into back towers, and they have another one in the mid wave after they killed that Terrorblade. So
I like I Annihilate here positioning as well, standing near the shrine just in case, still close in the vicinity. Should he be needed?
Be careful if you're Bane. You get 100-0 right now by this Tiny. Still smoked.
Most of them are pretty. Oh, the jump forward. Yules comes out though. Follow up with the Light Striker, right? They've got the Laguna Blade. Nice disruption coming out here from Era. Will buy a little bit more time, and now they're all on the retreat. Enigma looking for this opening. They drop a sentry ward. They know that there's someone there. They're trying to find it. Did they get it off though? Nice Light Striker, right? But they'll be able to go punch her into place, and that's going to be a kill for Jesse.
And there you can see the strength of the TFT lineup. Even though they don't have Terrorblade, their team fight is so strong. They have 2 heroes with save mechanics, so it's pretty much impossible. That was a great counterplay by Rooons, but they silenced the tree. There's now a disruption they still have to worry about. The Purge as well, securing the kill on Lina, as TB just farms. And I feel like that might be a bit of a microcosm for the rest of this game, because I don't see how Rooons ever wins a team fight. They need to force some sort of like epic finale Last Samurai charge from TFT and then just hit them with too much damage before they can climb that hill.
I like these analogies. These are good right here. Yeah, no, like you said, I feel like they probably need some sort of a pick-off. It felt almost a little bit too greedy once they saw like that Shadow Poison. I think they should have hightailed it out of there immediately. Like there was no reason to stay there any longer.
It's the illusion of safety thanks to their ward behind tower, which should have been perfect, but a great decision by TFT. They had Chessie smoked TP above tower where there's no possible way you could have vision, and then he just remains smoked and hangs out. So they think they're safe, but then there's a Tiny Enigma TP shrine, and all of a sudden that 4-on-1 becomes a 4-on-4, and you've got to run immediately.
They point out that Jubei's here. Oh, look, they drop a sentry on top of the sentry. Immediately, Nightmare comes out. Jubei realizing he's in no man's land. He's got to get out of there as fast as possible. And it looks like they'll allow him to live today.
The thing Rooons does have, though, is that as the game goes on, their drafts should be able to farm more around the map, maybe like 60-40 on the map per minute, just because of the way their heroes function and the amount of crazy wave clear on the Lina and the Mirana.
And of course, this Rubik who keeps stealing the Eidolons.
Yep.
But, oh, Black Hole down in the bottom lane. It's going to get used on a solo Mirana. Monkeys Forever is out, but that is a pretty big team fight ultimate that's on cooldown now, so you can see them. They're standing so close together, though. That's like so scary, right? They've got a Tiny that's got a blink. You've got Overgrowth. You gotta space it out a little bit, boys.
This is great from TFT. They're just stalling the game. And one thing I didn't mention yet is just this Enigma. It's first picked, and I know for a fact there are 5 or 6 teams at this tournament that will first overall pick Enigma into any sort of bans, just because of how powerful the Hero's Kit is in combination with the great way you can itemize. You can see he'll probably be going for fast Greaves into a Crimson Guard, and those items, like, you reduce the damage a Drow lineup does by so much when you pick up these items. And how many other heroes have the ability to just go full defensive while still applying so much pressure to an enemy draft in terms of how much damage and control you can output?
That's absolutely true. In fact, we just see the mechanism get picked up over on the Enigma, so he's on his way here. Man, the battle for these Sentry Wards here in the top lane. How many have we seen now? I think we've seen at least 4, maybe 5 coming out from both the teams as they rip them down during each of these fights. They really want this tower. Oh, monkeys. They see you. And they found someone else too, obviously. They'll turn back around. Light Strike Ray. Couple of clicks. Living Armor comes out, but they just go and use that Laguna.
You look at how scary those Drow illusions are. BSJ took a Soul Catcher and all of a sudden couldn't even man up on his own illusions. This is great from Jonas down bottom. Just keep pressuring this bottom lane. You've got HOD, you've got Eidolons, force movements, delay the timing of the Drow lineup. Roche is still alive. Now they're going to make a move for it, but again, you got to be scared at all times. You don't have the team fight to defend a Roche, but they know meta's on cooldown. They saw it pop top by Frost, so they feel confident.
They do have the Overgrowth, though, which is kind of scary, right? And they've already got the illusions coming in, scouting it out. Rosha's about halfway down. I feel like they want to get back in that pit, but they've got to be too careful.
They're so timid. It's such a weird spot to be in if you're Rooons. And still a relatively inexperienced team. Don't think they have a primary shot caller, and you can see there's a bit of hesitancy and uncertainty within all of their map movements right now.
Let's see. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the blink here over on Boris. That should help out a bit, right? Yeah. Being able to get in and out, finding those good, if you can get like the black hole, obviously, which is the big one. Overgrowth, of course, is great as well. And even just the disruption, right? Would be a really great spell to steal when you've got a Drow or a Lina. Just allow it to siege any sort of building. But Shadowblade completed. This is a poor Jubei. Oh my word.
Yeah, he's not had a great game.
It's been a tough one. He gets blown up immediately every time we see him.
And you could just see, I love what the final tribe's doing. It feels like a Rooons is a spider caught in their web. As the game continues, they're just going to become more and more powerful and less fearful of any damage the Rooons lineup is going to be able to deal. They'll have an AC at a point, the Greaves soon, then a Crimson. Obviously, strength gain comes into play. Everyone's going to tank up through that. And the Rooons heroes are just so squishy, and then it's not going to change anytime soon.
That struck me as you were about to, like, it sounded like you were about to quote Star Wars there for like half a second. I was like, oh yeah, you know, you knock them down, they come back more powerful. Totally Obi-Wan going on right now for the side of the final tribe. You know, you take a fight, maybe lose someone, but come right back up. And the longer that this game goes, the better it is. Oh, Jubei, not again. Jesse's dominating. You can't go, like, Kips actually calls that Mount Doom, that part of the mount, because every time that you try to climb it, something dreadful usually happens unless you've got any sort of just wards, or, you know, you see Crystal Maidens going over there and just Crystal Nova, just to get some vision, because usually you don't want to go over there.
Yeah, it's just because of how much control that high ground places on Roche. It's the same with Radiant on the hill, but it's right behind BSJ.
I thought Monkeys didn't grab that in time, but it does have the double damage room. Very close. Era almost got the denial off.
I mean, you can see TB was 6th in net worth recently. Now he's climbed above the Drow and the Marana, and it's just going to get easier and easier for him to eat the map once those illusions become powerful enough to clear creep waves by themselves.
And Boris has been playing just very passively, I guess. Did he just get that blink?
A little bit, yeah. He got it, but then pretty much just shoved this bottom wave a bit more. I don't really know what timing Rooons is waiting for. You're going to go BKB on Marana and then Ags on Lina. And these items are nice and offer progression, but when you compare what TFT's lineup is going to be able to pick up during the time that they spend farming these items, it's night and day difference. Everything TFT grabs is going to make their already overpowering teamfight advantage stronger. And for Rooons, it's just a bit of cool utility, but will it matter.
I don't know. I was going to ask you about, what's the next step here for Rooons, just because the later this goes, like we said, the more dangerous it becomes because this Terrorblade gets stronger, Tiny gets stronger, they've got great team fight. We're going to have a blink soon on Hanskin too. In fact, he spots out monkeys here in the trees. The TP immediately going to cancel it out, and comes the rest of the group here. Doesn't want to get caught, does have that leap, and they'll use the Moonlight Shadow just to run away. And that bottom line BKB queued up over Marana, and they are taking Roche though, so that is some space created. But look at Chessie. Oh, this is the second time they have tried to go in for this Roshan, and it's just not working out. Immediately, Hanskin making his way over. He's looking for that overgrowth. Isn't going to be able to quite find that opening just yet. They toss back a tiny illusion, and Boris going to take a tree to the face as he runs himself back. But just not really working out for Rooons just yet. They're not finding what they need.
Yep. I mean, it was a nice read on the situation by TFT as well. It's easy to get distracted by Marana and want to chase and complete that kill, but they play smart. They know all we really need to do is deny this Roshan, because that is the way Rooons could then get to tier 2s. If they don't get Aegis, they're never going to feel confident enough to start looking for fights. And man, Chessie's getting real close to that AC.
Yeah, he's definitely farming quite well here down here. Monkeys on the run. Does not have any more leap charges or the Moonlight Shadow. Is getting closer and closer to the BKB. So that'll be definitely advantageous, right? Because a lot of their stuff coming out right now is magical. Is that what they're waiting for, perhaps? Waiting for, the BKB to try to offset some of that damage and then go hunting, or?
Your guess is as good as mine, I'll be honest. I like the way they've played around the map, but they just haven't, Rooons hasn't connected. And when you run a lineup like this with Drow, it's all about finding opportunities to create mismatches in numbers and pincer. And thus far, they've just sort of played 3 lanes, which is great, but at some point, you need to try and connect, find a kill or 2, and then look for objectives.
Okay, Roshan Diaries, day number 3. He still has not been slain. The enemy approaches the gates. We are trapped.
And they are forced once again to retreat with the objective unclaimed.
I feel like we should do like a Ken Burns documentary style every time they go into the pit at this point, right?
They're going to keep trying, but if TFT stays alive, it's just going to be more of the same,
They need some sort of a pick-off, I think. At minimum, they need some sort of a pick-off, so that way they can go into that pit, because I think every time they go in, it's just so risky, because you've got this Tiny, it's going to blink in, throw out an avalanche, and like you said earlier, everyone's so squishy. They don't have a frontliner. They don't have anyone to really absorb all of that. So maybe if they can grab Chessie, perhaps? Oh, there's BSJ. They're looking for it. Arrow comes through. Not going to be able to connect it, though.
That's the thing. Like, you just tickle the Tiny, whereas he blinks in combos somebody,
That
they're going to be
sounds
forced to flee. And I don't know, it feels rough. This is a great smoke timing from TFT. They finished a few big items, and now it's go time.
Let's see, one hell of a black hole here. You want some fun?
Crimson and Mech ready to go. That's so scary. BSJ.
BSJ, oh no. Nice telekinetic lift though coming out here from the Rubik. Manages to steal that avalanche, turns back around. The overgrowth, not the overgrowth, rather. They punch him down. There's going to be the mech coming through though. Still going to be able to take down that Drow. And there goes a lot of your extra damage here. There's the avalanche. Jump forward coming out from Monkeys. They got to be really careful. They're grouped up so close here though.
Oh, what a great toss back from Chessie. And then the blink out from Hanskin. This is so well played by TFT. They just smoke in and go in. Pop all your cooldowns, utilize the Crimson, the meta, whatever. You get a kill on a core and a tower, and that's the thing. You can just rinse and repeat now. It might look like they overcommitted. In some ways they did, but there's no reason to hold on to spells because the lineup of Rooons doesn't really have the ability to make the same sort of move against you. Who's going to be initiating for them?
Yeah, they do lack that pretty hard. Maybe, Rupert gets a really good spell and you can try to get in there, but they don't have that same threat as Final Tribe does.
You need, for lack of a better term, you need an entry fragger. You need somebody that can just get into the thick things and create chaos, make themselves a target. But Rooons, none of their heroes really invite damage. They all want to evade it. And the problem is, when you play against the TFT lineup, they got too much AoE. You can't all be timid rabbits because eventually the lion's going to eat you. The Swedish lion, in this case.
The Swedish lion, right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it feels, you watched the Marana try to take down that Alpha Wolf and wasn't even able to do it. Like, she was going at it, and then, of course, they had the living armor that they threw on the creep and just walked away.
Yep, and this is if there's anything we learned from watching these top teams this past week, and the Vici, the Secrets, etc., it's all about not dealing damage, but how are you going to reduce damage? And I look at the Rooons lineup, and I see 0 methods, with the exception of a sleep for a few frames of cancel. TFT, you got Disrupt, you got all these defensive items in addition to the tree armor and the root. Like, you can prevent the Rooons lineup from dealing any damage for such a long period of time that it doesn't matter what your DPS looks like, because something is going to be worth a hell of a lot more than 0 the Drow lineup's going to be dealing. And it just feels like Rooons is in a really hopeless position in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely does not feel good right now, but they are trying to do a bit of split pushing here. They've dropped a couple wards for that vision, and I think they should be able to take this over in the bottom lane. Top lane, of course, already being pressured. And they'll finally get the tier 2 bottom. So they're trying to trade a little bit, but you know, taking a fight just seems very, very scary for the side of Rooons. When the Roche Monster is going down here in the pit, they know that they can't get, like, if they walk into that pit, they're dead. They're so dead, right? Because you've got the overgrowth, you've got the black hole, you've got this big old tiny going on here, and of course you've got, you know, your Terrorblade. Like, you can't go anywhere near that.
Very methodical game from TFT. I feel like I'm watching a tier difference between these teams become apparent, where TFT, you know, they haven't had the most success yet this season, but they certainly belong in like the tier 2, tier 3 discussion, whereas Rooons looking more like pump stack.
They almost grabbed that Mirana there.
You know, an Ags on Rubik soon, but again, it's like all these items for Rooons, they're selfish, right? They help the individual hero feel better about his role in the game. The Blink Ags, the Shadowblade Pike on BSJ, the Aether Lens Ags on the Lina, but nothing they're buying does a damn thing for the sum of their parts. And that is what TFT is all about.
So it's just too individualistic?
In a way, but it's partly being handicapped by their draft. They just don't have the ability to make anybody strong enough to survive.
Greaves now picked up over on Unison Fun.
Yeah. It's great as well as a self-cleanse for Drow Silence.
Yeah, it's going to be big for sure. If Drow can even get anywhere close, though, because Chessie just shows up and just blows up BSJ each time. So the positioning is just so difficult against this team.
This is like peak damage output for a Tiny. I don't know the math on it, but Blink Echo AC level 18. Look at this.
Oh, Mirana, BKB comes out. They've got the Laguna. They won't be able to take down the tree, but the BKB comes out over here on the Terrorblade. They've got the Fiend's Grip holding him into place, but it's just a deterrence for now to keep Iron Light still alive. The buyback comes out here from the tree and doesn't want to spend too much time off that map, and they're going to go high ground right now. They've got an Aegis over on the Terrorblade. But it looks like they'll back off.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, they had that buyback from Tree. I thought they were going to perhaps push it a little bit more because they have the black hole.
Oh, wow.
What?
Bottom lane.
Whoa, okay.
BSJ making the split push moves. That is definitely why the tree bought back. And that's huge, because if they just keep that tier 3 alive with a smidgen of HP, eventually it goes back to full. But my man, BSJ making the split push and maneuvers. It appears he doesn't just have a strong jawline. He has a great sense of how to play around the map.
I like it. I like it. I wanna see them, you know, succeed here for sure. But is that gonna be enough, right? Is the Rat Dota gonna be enough to turn the tide?
Yeah, wait and see. I think TFT, it's all about finding an engagement with a creep wave next to the Rooons base. You just need to watch your creeps, make sure you have at least that 30-second or minute advantage on waves, and then just barrel down for a Rax.
And Nightlight looks like he's actually going to be able to be just fine. Has that Yules, throws it out over on the Centaur, and makes a hasty escape.
This is what you want to be looking to do, though. This is the kind of plays. You make a move middle with 2, as bottom, your TB continues to press that lane hard and aggressive.
We got Tree Grab now for our Rubik. It's always fun to watch that. And top lane, yeah. Oh, monkeys, you are in for some trouble, my friend. There's going to be the punch, the toss. BKB comes out, couple of leaps here. Should be able to get himself out there. Go and use that Moonlight Shadow. They actually had the dust, and they dust the Mirana, but I don't think they're going to be able to grab it just quite in time. And they'll come back in, actually. They want to go and fight this Tiny Laguna. Comes out. Thunder comes out, though, you know. Frost's going to be a bro, keep him alive. and they're just gonna do a full retreat.
Like I said, they're not. They have so many ways of saving their teammates. TFT. How do you kill any of these guys?
I think that's what Rooons is trying to figure out right now, Kyle. As Jesse gets himself another kill.
Now, theoretically, as this game gets later and later, you can't. These sustain items fall off in some ways. Like, they give a static amount of block and sustain, etc., but the Drow lineup can scale exponentially if you get to a point where the Mirana, the Lina, the Drow all have their fifth items. It's just now on TFT, can you close out? You've got this crippling advantage. It's just trying to find a way to force a 5-on-5 fight, and maybe this is it. They still have the Aegis, time to go high ground.
And that Fade Bolt just ripped apart that entire creep wave though on the illusions.
I think you push this if you're TFT. Make a fight happen here. You're so much more powerful.
Looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They'll take down the tower. They're going to go right up here onto the high ground. Light Striker Ray comes through here. Just toss the Terrorblade back for a moment. Take a break. You've been working real hard here, Frost. Turn back around again. Light Striker Ray. Couple of these right clicks coming out. And the meta's up.
I don't think you need to play this conservatively if you're TFT. Just get that Rax.
You're a little nervous about it, right? And they'll try to get that Drow silence off with a gust. But they'll pop the drums.
You can see the problem, even just the way Rooons is positioning. It's like there's 5 people. It's like watching a game of basketball and no one's in the paint. They're all just standing at the 3-point line waiting for the ball. But it's just not going to happen. And no one feels confident enough to like blink or leap into the fray. And it just makes it so easy for TFT to position. How do you ever kill the Shadow Demon or the tree if everyone's so afraid? You need a pincer, but that's hard to do if TFT has got the movement advantage and they find the Enigma.
Well, should be able to take him out fairly quickly here. Lock him down. Annihilates on a killing spree. So they don't have to worry about the Enigma right now in the black hole. They'll be able to take that shrine. Do they make another rotation here, Boris? He does spot out that there's a Tiny over here. Manages to steal the tree toss again. Fiend's Grip's gonna come out over here onto the Shadow Demon. Disruption comes out the last second, but not long for that world. Immediately Arrow comes through. And that's the end of Era.
That's what I would have loved to see from the Rooons lineup maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. And they do find these important pickoffs. They'll grab a tier 2 and maybe another shrine off it, which is nice for them. That top Rax isn't a big deal in this game since both teams can shove lane so hard. It's just all going to come down to the second Roshan. You need to play some good vision if you're Rooons. They pick up the Scythe of Vice on the Lina.
I do like that.
It's good, but it's at the same time. If you're not somehow getting on top of the Shadow Demon, does it really matter if you hex the target you initiate on?
That's true. That's true. You can go in and just be able to do another save here. But I guess maybe... I don't know. Like, there's a lot of, you know, we talked about how Final Tribe has a lot of like little pieces that kind of have to fit together, but as this game goes later and later, it feels like there's even more pieces now for our original point-and-click draft, right? Because you've got to make sure, all right, if I can, you know, get this Scythe of Ice off over onto, you know, say we go onto Chessie or whatever, or the Terrorblade, then immediately you have to be thinking about Era, who's going to jump on Era, who's going to Nightmare, Fiend's Grip, all of that stuff. So it definitely becomes trickier.
It gets harder and harder for the Rune supports to play the game, and easier and easier for TFT. Because you just don't have anything to fear when you consider... that's unfortunate.
Go Cardi B, let's go.
And that serves more. I think the danger in that is like losing a tier 4 is annoying, but it's more to remind TFT like, hey guys, remember if you win a fight, you could just go throne. And I would like to see that be their choice in the event they make it all the way to the Rune's base, because I still find that if they can just get in position as 5, they cannot be fought. It's just trying to get these pesky split pushers into the same place to force them into the decision to fight them.
And the really scary thing is we just got the Scotty picked up over on Mr. Terrorblade here. That's going to hurt really badly. It doesn't matter if you've got a BKB or whatnot. You're going to get slowed down quite a bit, and you're going to lose a lot of life.
Yep.
What do you do?
Not quite sure.
Maybe Boris somehow cancels and steals a black hole and then turns the whole game around. I mean, a black hole in the game, you know, and a Rubik.
It's possible.
You can always get a Hail Mary, right?
Never say never.
All right.
Yeah. It just feels... It feels like Rooons is going to lose this game, and they never really made a play to win it. They didn't make any critical errors, but that's kind of the point, is that they never really push the envelope. They never took any risks. And you can't win games of Dota with this sort of lineup without taking those calculated movements and trying to make shit happen. They just sort of de-accelerated, braked too hard, and now face this inevitable onslaught.
Look at that Tiny. He's got double damage. Oh no, Manta comes out. Immediately, Nightmare comes through. That could have been a very, very dead Mirana.
And TFT's played it smart. Look, it's all about control the shrine. Roche has spawned, and now it's all about finishing that objective. And they do Roche incredibly quickly, and as I've said time and time again, I don't think you can fight into them ever. So Rooons, now it's your decision. Do you take that chance? Do you make this play? Or do you just allow the Roshan for free?
I don't know if they can get there fast enough, honestly, at this point. Look how fast he's going down. I think he just let them have it. Because by the time you get over there, they've already got the Aegis, and then you've got a black hole waiting with your name on it. Well, they're going to try, though. All right.
And they're going to try, they're going to see it dies, and they're going to turn around.
Yep. Immediately, a Monkey's just swoop, U-turn. Let's get out of here. Do not want, I don't think that Jubei is going to make it out. They do manage to get the gust off, though. The turnaround BKB gets popped over here onto the Terrorblade. Looks like Monkey's trying to stay alive here. The Scotty, though, coming in long distance. Still alive, though. They do have that Moonlight Shadow. Annihilate going to try to run himself back into the base, and they've pushed them back now. Nice arrow coming through. Actually does stun the Terrorblade, giving them a little bit of time where that meta's not going to be hitting their towers, but he's back up again, no problem. They'll follow up with a disruption. We're going to see a lot of Terrorblades walking over here, taking out illusions, taking down buildings, and just generally being a badass.
It's so important. If Rubik can get disruption, that could change the game. You can see him trying to do so, but the positioning from air is quite nice.
Well, it's all about positioning this game, because if you're too close together, you've got a Jonas Fan who's going to be jumping up and murdering you all in the black hole. And yeah, it's pretty scary. They do have that Hex out here over onto Terrorblade. He still does have that Aegis. Will sunder up Era, knowing that he's going to stick very far back and that the Enigma has that Guardian Greaves.
Yep.
Do get the...
The high, and you can see, like this is, the Drow Strat is now the Gatling gun on the high ground. You can't push into it super effectively, but at the same time, TFT, they do 1,500 damage to the tower, and they never really are in danger. It's just a matter of choosing to commit. I think they're going to regen, get all these bounty runes. You can see they pick up all 4. Maybe camp this bottom illusion rune for a bit, and then look to push next meta and just really make the play. Blink in with Tiny, blink in with Tree, and get on top of these heroes from Runes that cannot deal with that threat.
Jonas Fan just picked up a BKB. Going to be coming out on the chicken right now, I believe. So that's going to be a pretty terrifying thing for them to have to deal with.
They have no method of BKB cancel with the exception of the Bane grip, which you don't really want to squander on that. They could theoretically steal it with the Rubik, but if he doesn't get like the TB and all illusions and the tree, he's just liable to go down immediately.
I feel like Jubei is just one of the first targets too to get immediately murdered. It'll be very hard to get in position for that. Especially, you know that Chussie will just kind of hang back too. You get off a really nice black hole, you just let your Terrorblade go about his business. Oh boy, Monkeys, gotta get in that base.
And meta's coming up pretty soon. And look.
Oh, I annihilate. Yules comes out here. Buys a little bit of time. They've got that purge to turn back around. They've got the Sunder. They'll be able to go and try to keep them alive a little bit longer. Not gonna be able to do it though. Frost's gonna get that kill. And that is I annihilate buying back right now. The BKB comes out here from Frost. He's going to get the Sunder off over onto the Drown. He's just a menace right now. They're just ripping through these buildings. Again, look at the positioning coming out from Enigma. He's staying very far back, as is Era. They've got the save. They've got this catch if necessary here. But they just cannot find this open. They're too afraid to go forward. Like you said, nice overgrowth coming through. There's going to be the Meta Meteor Hammer is actually going to get used as well. They toss those tiny illusions up into the air. Can they get the kill over here onto this Drow? Not going to be able to. They take out Eye and Highlight here. And now Final Tribe is feeling pretty comfortable in their enemy's base.
Yep. Perfect star formation. You can see TFT, just everyone knows their role. Everyone knows their position. And they're winning these fights, and it feels like it's just not difficult. It's easy.
Oh no, Monkeys, he's sitting so low. The last Scotty hit gonna come through. BSJ in for a lot of trouble here too. He's gotta run a little bit faster. We'll be able to go invis. And they're just ripping through this base. They get another kill over here as well. Boris, there's the black hole BKB. They're gonna use it just on poor little Jubei. Looks like Innocent Fan might actually get taken down here. BSJ, he wants his kill so badly, but he just doesn't find. Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Final tribe victory coming through here.
Methodical, clinical, and just great execution from TFT. I just don't know, man. I don't like. Felt like TFT was a real Dota team with a real plan, and they did their jobs. Rooons just felt like 5 guys with no real one idea. If you can't play like a team.
Point too. You know, we looked at a lot of the really have a great frontliner, but you know, it felt like it was more of an individualistic sort of game. You're not seeing stuff that's going to negate damage. You don't find any saves. Whereas you looked at stuff that the Final Tribe had, is they had quite a few things, methods, spells, all sorts of stuff that could, you know, potentially save your Terrorblade. With, you know, you've got the disruption that came out. You've got, you know, tree heal. You've got all these different things that really make it into a good, strong team. Yep. And I think, unfortunately, Rooons that time, they didn't quite have that same setup.
Yeah, and I don't really know. I think you gotta find some way to make a change, because whatever Rooons is doing right now ain't working. And anyway, game 2 will be coming up in just a little bit. We're gonna throw it to a break, but stay tuned. Game 2, Rooons versus the Final Tribe. We'll hit you shortly.